and welcome to the Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia podcast, a sacred place and resource for spiritually centered women who want to go from the mundane to the magical life, for overcoming fear and doubt, reconnecting with the goddess, understanding messages from spirit, and uncovering your spiritual gifts so you can finally live the life you deserve. Hello, Spiritual Trailblazers, and welcome to another episode of Spiritual and Empowerment Living with Tia. Man, I have to tell you, each episode is just very special in its own way. Every topic I cover, there's something about it that just hits home, and I can't quite explain it all the time, but it's just something about each episode, and I'll leave it at that, which is one of the reasons why I love podcasting, because I get to share so much knowledge and I get to have people on the show, and I can't wait for you to hear some of the guests, and we get to have a conversation. That's what it's about. I just feel like so many people, at least what I have seen in some areas, especially social media, you really don't get a chance to have a conversation, which is so interesting, because that was one of the purposes of social media, is to connect, have a conversation online with people, things like that. Especially being someone who was on MySpace, where people connected, and at a time where you had to type in the Facebook, where it was mainly college students, how we just connected that way, taking quizzes, posting our pictures. And now it's a different world on social media. And sometimes even when you see people in person, you just wonder what happened to the art of having a conversation. So I'm just glad that I have this platform. I'm grateful that I have this platform where I can invite people on to have a conversation. And it's not about agreeing with me 100%, because that wouldn't work. That's not what life's about. But it's about being able to find out what works for you. My favorite word is ascertain, and that means to find out. Because I'm curious, because learning never stops, because if we just ask the question, imagine how our world would be so much better if we just looked at the root of issues, or just asking people things, just finding out how is someone truly feeling, things like that. So I'm just grateful that I get to share this space with you. I'm grateful that you welcome me into your car, your house, wherever you are listening to this podcast. I'm just thankful for it. All right. So just a little heads up. I know you saw the title, so you have kids around, you may want to put on some headphones. Okay. But the colorful word in the title has a very rich history, and it got demonized over the years. So I wanted to address that. So you have kids, put headphones on. Okay. So before we dive into that, I want to tell you that the Goddess Mastery Challenge is back. Woo! We did this last year. It was a success. People loved it. People had their moments, where, something just clicked. And I am just so thrilled to bring this back again this year. And I even posted some of the results people were having during the challenge. So if you were on my email list, you definitely saw that. If you follow me on Instagram, I have posted it in my stories. My Instagram is Tia_Johnson_. So if you saw it there, that's pretty cool, because you get some insights on what to expect. And so I am just going to say that this Goddess Mastery Challenge is a free challenge, and you will receive videos for you to review, to take notes with. You'll get fun sheets, and each day we work with a different goddess. Okay. And that's one of the really cool parts about this, to help us in different areas in life. Okay. So a quick breakdown. This is going to help you in areas of gaining clarity and confidence, We'll be working with Goddess Lila for that. Overcoming fear and doubt with Goddess Kali. Understanding and increasing your manifestation abilities with Goddess Dana. Accepting love and beauty with Goddess Aphrodite. Unlocking your divine magic with Goddess Isis. Creating abundance with Goddess Lakshmi. And igniting your divine flame with Goddess Pele. Now, on this podcast, we've talked about, or we have dove into working with these goddesses, right? But in this challenge, we get deeper, right? So the episodes that had Kali and Pele, that was touching the surface, okay? So this starts February the 13th, all right? So we have just some days left, okay? So you can still register. The link will be in the description of this episode. And like I said, we're going to be implementing strategies to get confident, overcome doubt, unlock your divine magic, and all of this to reconnect with your inner goddess. This is where your strength lies. So really think about this. How amazing would it be if you were to live a life where you understood and unlock your goddess energy? You had firm boundaries established. You believe in yourself completely. You understand the messages of the goddesses, and it just clicks for you. You just get it, right? And I know some of you have been receiving messages like numbers and dreams and things like that, those little coincidences, okay? How to work with goddesses to help you in areas in your life. Love, health, confidence, as we've been saying before, and to recognize yourself for who you truly are, for other people to recognize you. One thing I have been noticing a lot lately is identity. People are trying to identify themselves, okay? Even if they're saying, oh, I don't believe in labels, but you are still trying to define who you are. And you're defining who you are by saying you don't do labels, okay? So it's really about embracing who you are completely. So no more living like an unappreciated, unpaid personal assistant, someone who gets no credit, no more of that. No more stopping yourself from speaking up, not having boundaries or putting self-love on hold. No more not seeing your beauty. No more not living the life you deserve, okay? It is time for you to live your full potential, all right? You just have to tap into the energy within. All right, that energy that's been dormant for a while, that feeling that is a spark is starting to burn within, all right, that feeling to break free, speak up, and create that life you deserve, all right? That's the goddess energy that we are going to be tapping in. So if you're ready, I would love to have you be part of this 7-day challenge. All you had to do is go to tmariejohnson.com, Goddess Mastery Challenge. And again, the link would be in the description for this episode. So let's get confident, overcome doubt, unlock your divine magic, and let's get that done by reconnecting you with your inner goddess. Oh, that was a mouthful. So I've been working on updates for that the entire weekend. I didn't watch Sabrina. Okay. I didn't watch the Aaron Hernandez documentary. So I want you here in this challenge. Okay. I sacrificed Netflix for you guys this weekend. All right. So the dose of spiritual info, before I get to the first episode, dive into the information of the first episode of this month. So I've been working with archangels for a while. I became an angel therapy practitioner many years ago. And as a kid, I had vision. I still get visions, but I would also see things with my naked eye, as they say, with my actual eyes, not just my third eye. And so I just didn't know what it was called. Okay. I wasn't scared. I didn't feel scared. I just saw things. And one of the things I saw, which I later learned, was Archangel Raphael. And my story got published in a book, and I'll share that book with you. It's Archangel Raphael book. But we're not going to dive into Archangel Raphael today because I wanted to talk about past lives real quick as your spiritual info. But just to give you some background with that, I saw Archangel Raphael. I didn't see his face, but when I learned about spirituality, I was able to discover, oh my God, this person meets the criteria of what this person explained, and that's the Archangel. So, yeah, that was one of many visions I have seen with my physical eyes. So, which leads me to Archangel Raziel. Archangel Raziel is the archangel that helps us with our past lives, among other things. And I wanted to talk about Archangel Raziel quickly because I have noticed a lot of people are dealing with some past life issues and they don't realize it. And unfortunately, I can't always just say, oh, yeah, you probably were a knight in your past life, or you probably was a witch in your past life or something like that, because it's not everyone's path. And sometimes people don't want to hear it. They just want to say, I got this issue and that's what it is, and I'm going to tackle it, which is fine. Okay. However, there are a lot of issues people are going through that are rooted in past life. And we can see that, such as, overcoming fear and doubt to speak up, because in your past life, you may have been killed for speaking up. Okay. So when I started diving into spirituality, when I learned that it was called spirituality, one of the things I started doing was past life regression. And I do not advise people to do this on their own. You should really do this with someone who is trained, or at least someone be by your side, because it could be intense. So I did this while I was at work during my lunch break, and it was very intense. So I just had a quick past life memory. But what I want to tell you here is that when you have something going on in your life, and it's something that's like repetitive, like, why is this always popping up? Why? Start to ask the archangels for help. And arch has many definitions, but in this case, it means chief. So chief angel. Okay. And the name Raziel means secrets of God. So when you are going through something, look at not the bigger picture, but the backstory. Ask yourself, why is it that I attract these people in my life? Sometimes it's not you. Sometimes and when I say not you, I mean, you're not this wounded, terrible, horrible person that attracts crazy people. Maybe in a past life, you worked at what do they call them? The Byberries, the sane asylums. And maybe, you were the head person here who worked with people like that. All right. Who knows? All I'm saying is start looking at the possibility of how past lives can influence what's going on in your present life. I also read somewhere that birthmarks are the areas where you were killed in a previous life. Now, if that is indeed true, that explains a lot between myself and what some of my friends have experienced with those areas of their body. All right. So Archangel Raziel will help you with the wisdoms of your lifetime. Let's see. Sometimes we also make vows in our past lives, such as poverty, self-sacrifice, chastity. So just a quick quote here, and this is from Archangel's 101 book. And it states, Dear Archangel Raziel, I am willing to sever all vows of poverty, self-sacrifice, and chastity. And I ask that you help undo all effects of these vows in all directions of time for everyone concerned. So again, just start looking at possibilities of past lives. All right. Helping you to understand what's going on in your present life. And one of the colors for Archangel Raziel, just so you know when you connected with him. So his color, or actually I should say colors, is the rainbow. All right. And he's like an old grandfather wizard looking person. So if you see a statue of a wizard or something like that, That's you connecting with Razia. All right, enough of that. Let's dive into the topic. All right, bitch, diva, and overachiever. How to deal with resentment when you set up your boundaries and standards. I am so passionate about this topic because, and I see this so many times with women, when we stand up for ourselves, when we set boundaries, when we know what we want, when we get detailed in our work and we won't leave until it's satisfied, when we change our look, won't settle for less, become more of a visionary, no longer fear change. You know, all these things that we start to implement in our life and really be proactive with, when I notice is that we get this backlash. Okay. And also, if you want to dive even deeper into this, this is from my first book, To Be Goddess. This is chapter 9 from part 2, and it's under BARN. It's the acronym I created: Boundaries, Allies, Resentment, and Networking. And this is under the resentment part. So, you know, when we are doing this, you know, when things start to manifest a bit easier for us, when we are in sync with time and money and knowledge, and we get a better understanding of how the universe works, we're high vibrational, you know, things just don't bother us the way it used to. We don't have time for certain things. We don't care about certain things. We get called names. And I understand that for some women, it's just, you know, who cares? That doesn't do anything to me. But the thing is, it takes a while to get to that point. Sometimes if you hear it too many times, it gets to you. Even the strongest women start to think, man, really? Am I really an overachiever, like, to that extent? I mean, is it really asking for too much? You know, because we say things like, oh, you can't have your cake and eat it too. It usually has a bad connotation. But what if it was a good connotation? What if it was, yeah, I want to have my cake and eat it too. I don't want this beautiful cake to sit there. All right. So what I'm saying is, I want us to be more prepared for when those emotions arise, because we get called these names. And I picked these 3 names in particular because those 3 names, bitch, diva, overachiever, are the 3 main names I kept seeing over and over and over again. And I kept hearing over and over and over again. It was always, I don't want to be a bitch, but I didn't like it. I didn't like my sandwich, or I didn't want to be a diva and, speak up. I'll wait till later, and maybe I'll just like send them an email. No, it's speak up. Okay. Yes, the written word is powerful, but as a choice, okay, to opt out of speaking up using your voice, that's an issue. Okay. And I could go on and on with the phrases that I hear, or what I hear men in particular call women, just because she's just not settling. She's just not having it. I remember many years ago when my brother was younger, a guy tried to talk to me, and I just said no, and I kept walking because, quite frankly, he was a little bit sketchy. He was just, it was just something about him that was like a really bad vibe. And so he just called me a bitch. And my brother was so mad. And I said, that's not even important, because that was just a guy who got mad because a woman didn't want to talk to him. Okay. But in other cases, sometimes we do have to really turn around and speak up like, hey, that's not cool. So this is a case by case basis as well. And that's one of the things I always stress on the podcast, because some situations you need to walk away from because it can really escalate to something very bad. And I don't ever want to issue a blanket statement where it's like, oh yeah, you should always do this. Sometimes you have to call it and walk away and go get help and then come back. Okay, so I want to put that out there. All right, so I want to give you the background, the origin of the word bitch. And I think this is important because if we can understand, sort of like with the past life, if we can understand the origin, the root, the source, then it gets a little bit better. We can understand why that word is actually important, and we can start to own that word, okay, as opposed to feeling disempowered when someone calls us a bitch. So this is also based on studies. So if you have my book, then you'll see that they are about 2 pages. Let me see. Yeah, they're 2 pages worth of sources. So for the big I can't talk, bibliography, 2 pages. All right. So just going down here. So Artemis is the goddess of the hunt. All right. And she was called the Great Bitch. All right. And she led a pack of hunting priestesses who were referred to as sacred bitches. All right. So keep that in mind. That was the origin, the hunt, right? That canine, all right, species, that just being able to be laser focused and, you know, sniff out, just to take on that function, and to have that like the canine animals, or whether it's the wolf or the dog, to be associated with that. Okay, that's what it was about. You know, always making your target on the hunt, right? So think about that. Artemis, goddess of the hunt, was also called Great Bitch, and led a pack of hunting priestesses who were referred to as sacred bitches. Okay, in ancient times, to be called a bitch was a sign of sacredness, respect, and honor. Okay, and I know that we are not in ancient times. I get that. That can be an argument with Tia, but it's not ancient times. It's, you know, it's 2020. But again, as long as you know the origin, your whole perspective changes. It's just like when we learn about accurate history. Okay, as my papa said, history is his story, which is written by the winner. All right, the victor. Okay. Once we find out the accurate history, it really changes our perspective. We start to own words, we start to own what we do. And before I get into the other 2 names, I want to just give you 3 things to think about here, because I wanted to start off with bitch, just to open the door for this. So when we are thinking about, okay, right, but how can I own it? What does this mean going forward? I had this knowledge, but now what? Well, 3 things here. Doing this will help you to believe what you are capable of, and to remind yourself that you are enough. Because when you think about it, you're going to receive this resentment, this hate, but no one does that to people who aren't doing anything. So this is a reminder that, hey, the doubt that you have right now, that adverse feeling that you're having right now, you can address it, what you're doing right now, and then you're going to dismiss it. Because the people out there who aren't for your success, who are trying to add fuel to that fire, they see what you're capable of. They see your potential, okay? It's a spark that's going on, all right? It's a flame that's burning and growing brighter within you, and they see that before you see that in yourself. Isn't that crazy? So this is to prevent what they're saying to go deeper into your mind, because once it does, that's a wrap. Then you have to work extra hard to change your mindset. So think about this. Knowing the root of these words, understanding how you can use it to your advantage, just reminds you what you're capable of. All right? You are enough, and you're just going to grow and grow and expand and do even bigger and better things. So just remember that glimmer inside of you, that spark inside of you, to other people, that is a full-on fire, full-on flame. Okay? So just remember that. Believe more in yourself. Okay? And you'll definitely begin to feel more comfortable with yourself. And 2 is to embrace the progression. Okay. You can do it at a moderate pace, at a slow pace, at a quick pace, but be careful. If you go too fast, then you overlook the journey and everything that comes with going too fast. You can become burnt out quicker. And if you go too slow, then you're not really going to reach your destination. All right. So keep that in mind. But have that progression always going, just like, in the background, because what you will see is the growth that you didn't think was possible. So do something new, get out your comfort zone, because you're going to meet people who want you to get to that next level, who want you to expand at the level you're at. Okay. So never mind when people, call you these names or look at you as this, because you set up standard or boundaries and standards. Okay. So what if they resent you? All right. As long as they're not trying to harm you, maybe they talk about you. That is just noise. But remember, as long as you keep progressing, those people will go further and further away from you. All right. They'll be so far back in the road that you can't even see them in your rear view mirror. Okay. But just remember, the progression is there. And once you start to, again, I'm going to stress this, own these words, automatically that progression happens, because you just lifted a ceiling. You just shattered a ceiling. No one likes getting called a name. But now you know the root of the words. Now it's like, little does he know that doesn't offend me, because that means I am sacred. That means I'm on the hunt. That means I am on target. All right. No one's going to call you these names if they didn't think that you weren't on target, if you weren't doing something great, if you weren't on the path of surpassing them. All right. And then the third point here is to document. You will not be able to recognize what you're doing unless you document it. I don't care if you post pictures on Facebook and make it private, so only you'll see it. And then once a year, Facebook will remind you of your progression. I don't care if you make an album in your phone where you take pictures of yourself, videos of you speaking with yourself and saying, hey girl, you are a great sacred bitch today. You are the great bitch today. You are going to make it. What you're hunting for, you will get. Okay. I don't care how you do it. You can even go on YouTube, make the channel private, do your vlogs every day, every couple of days, once a week, right? And then go back, see that progression, and who knows, you get it transcribed into a book, a blog, make it public, and you have all that material to share with someone. You never know. So document. 1 is to believe that you're capable and enough. 2 is progression. And then 3 is document. All right. So now let's move on to Diva. So when I looked up the definition for Diva, first I thought it was wrong, because I thought, wow, this can't be a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but I have here the origin of the word diva is Italian, which translates to goddess. Italian, which translates to goddess. From the Latin feminine divus, divine, God. I was like, wow, that's what diva means. I always thought diva had to do with an opera singer. So, oh yeah, and then I also have diva also means a glamorous and successful female performer or personality. Synonyms for diva are goddess, princess, and queen. So diva is not a bad word, right? So if someone says you're being a diva because, you want to put on makeup, look a little bit glamorous, look alive, whatever the case may be, just say diva means goddess. Okay? That's where you gotta That's how you got to take the definition and apply it to yourself. Okay, so don't feel bad when someone calls you that. You don't even have to get defensive. You could just tell them diva means goddess. Diva is a synonym for queen. You know, so again, how do you want to show up in the world? Do you want to show up in the world as a diva? Someone who looks at themselves as, a goddess, a queen, successful personality, however you want to, think of that as, how do you want to show up in the world? Because a person who is a diva, a queen, what have you, they are owning that. They're making that work for them. So just, say it. Yeah, you know what? I'm a diva. That's totally fine. I'd rather have it like that than, than to not acknowledge my power, my strength, whatever word you want to use at that time. Okay, I'd rather be a diva than a welcome mat. Okay. Write it in a sentence. And I also have an exercise for you. But know that it's okay to be this way. And of course, I'm not talking about being rude to people, being just a nasty person. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, for those of you, and you're listening to this podcast, so I know you are this person who just wants to be respected, given their due credit, want to be heard, seen for who they truly are, want their boundaries respected, to have confidence. That's who this is for. Okay? Because the good people, the good natured people, the heart centered people, they are sensitive. You are sensitive to some of these words. And sometimes it just really depends who it comes from. It may not bother you if Joe Blow says it, but it may bother you if John says it. It might be like, wait a minute, why would he look at me like that? Like, why would he say, oh, I'm just being a diva when I'm just trying to get these PowerPoint slides correct? No, how am I being over the top or an overachiever? Which leads me to the next point. It's funny because throughout school, we are encouraged, all right, to do good, to be the best, And it's funny that when we do strive to be the best, we get called overachiever. Now, overachievers are sometimes extremely detail oriented, but sometimes it calls for us to be extremely detail oriented. Someone has to be detail oriented, right? So it's just really interesting that when we want to do better, that it's being seen as an overachiever instead of someone who just wants to achieve. I haven't met someone, and it is not, and I'm not saying that this doesn't happen, but I haven't met someone who's been called an overachiever, not actually be an overachiever. So what I'm saying is those who've been called an overachiever, they just been achievers. It's just that the person calling them an overachiever really isn't achieving anything. So of course that person is over in that person's eyes. Now, are there people who have no chill and they have to get the A plus plus plus? Yes. But again, I'm not addressing those people. That could be something that is cultural or mental, or you're trying to prove something. That's a whole nother realm. That can mean a lot. Okay. And that's something that is for a different conversation. What I'm saying here is, as I said just a few moments before or ago, those heart-centered people, those genuine, nice people who just want a better life, who want a better group of friends, who want to just be a better human being, okay? Those people, all right? So when you want to make sure everything's correct, when you want to make sure people are accounted for or being held accountable, and you feel like maybe I'm doing too much, you can say things like, hey, look, I just want to double check. It's not that you're explaining yourself by means of giving away your power. It's just about making it a little bit more comfortable for you to be able to follow up until you get to the point where people just know, hey, she's definitely going to follow up. So I need to make sure that I get my stuff together. Okay. The exercise I have for you, and this is in the book. So you have the book, redo the exercise because, things change, right? We go to new levels and different feelings arouse, or the same feelings, come up, and we have to just tackle them on a different level. So what I want you to do is get a sheet of paper and just write I am, because I am is saying that is very powerful. The two most powerful words you can ever say, because whatever you say after the M is what you are proclaiming. So if you say, I am beautiful, I am wealthy, I am intelligent, I am healthy, then you are speaking that into existence. And the more you say it, the more you're going to be proactive and in tune to that to make that happen. All right. So that's why I stressed earlier, when you have the chance to speak up, use your voice first. Okay. As opposed to writing it or sending an email. So that's why I am as powerful. All right. It's in relation to our mindset. It's a belief system. Okay. Because that's what you're saying. When people say, I'm broke, right? That's what they're going to see everywhere, is that a lack of money. All right. But you're saying, I am wealthy. You're going to start seeing wealth in different places, even if on the surface, it may not look like wealth. Okay. You may start to think, I'm living in this apartment. It's not the best apartment, but I have a roof over my head. My apartment's warm. I have a nice cozy bed. I have a couch. It's a simple couch, but it's a couch. I have a TV. It's not a big TV, but I got my Netflix hooked up to it, right? So someone might say, oh my gosh, your apartment is tiny. This bed is, the couch is, and your TV's small, right? Someone else can look at it and say, oh, you know what? This place is cozy. Who cares? Right? That's just a mindset shift. So you're going to write I am. And then you're going to spell out bitch. So you're going to do B, next line I, next line T, next line C, next line H. All right. So it is vertical. And you're going to write out words, right? And I believe it's called adjectives. So words that describe nouns. So if I remember correctly. All right. So so I have here as a first example, I am beautiful, inspirational, and a talented champion of herself. So I am, and I just spelled out BITCH. And next one, I have, I am bold, inspiring, tenacious, complete, honorable. I am breathtaking, important, trustworthy, caring, hypnotic. I am a boss, intelligent, a teacher, charitable, healthy. All right. So start doing this as another process to own that word. Own that word. And do the same thing with overachiever. All right. And then do the same thing with diva. All right. So use any words you want. It doesn't have to form a sentence, doesn't have to, be perfect. Just write it out. Words that come to you. For diva, one of the examples I have, I am delicious, intense, valuable, adored. I am delightful, inquisitive, vivacious, admired. Okay, just keep doing that. All right. And just to wrap this up, like I said, you can work with the goddess Artemis. You can work with goddess Athena. Her priestesses filled her temple with dogs who howled at the moon. So work with Athena. And her priestesses were known as holy bitches. All right. So Athena priestess, holy bitches. Artemis priestess, sacred bitches. Okay. Work with those goddesses to help you in that process of whatever it is you're seeking. Like I said, love, health, money, abundance, let them help you with that process. Athena is the goddess of wisdom, among other things. So let her grant you the wisdom, and let Artemis help you meet your mark every single time. Okay. Start thinking about, rewriting Overachiever. And actually, let me give you one of the examples just to help you out for Overachiever, because I know it's a long phrase there for you. All right, so let's see here. I have overtly value, energy, resilience, and chooses her individuality as extremely valuable and ever reliable. So, add of, add as, and if that helps you or not. All right. So think about what those words mean to you. Don't worry about the resentment that people have. Some people you won't even know about until you get to a certain level. Just like I explained in previous episodes, the 3 groups of people you need to be aware of. The most dangerous group are the people who don't want you to do better than them, because they will drop the ball, they will not support you, they will sabotage you, all the while pretending that they're rooting for you. And you will know eventually, because, like I said, they'll start to drop the ball. They won't be as happy for you. You'll feel that energy. You will know. Okay. So that's what I have for you today. Again, start to own those words. The origins of those words. Okay. There is nothing wrong with wanting to do better. There's nothing wrong with wanting to challenge yourself to reach the next level. And you know what? Some people won't be along with you during that journey and beyond, but that's okay, because you are more important than their feelings. Okay. So I am sending you many blessings. I'm always rooting for you. Take care of yourself. Be kind to yourself. And I will see you or speak with you in the next episode. As always, Spiritual Trailblazer, thank you for tuning in. Do make sure to stop by and visit me at tiamariejohnson.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Last but not least, be kind to yourself. I'm rooting for you, and I'm sending you so many blessings. Until next time.